Happy Thanksgiving!
Happy Thanksgiving. You know, this is a special edition of the Farm Bits podcast. We've not really done an episode yet that has been kind of unplanned. We're kind of going to do this one improvisationally. We improv a lot with questions, but very rarely with the intro and outro.
Yeah, and if you know anything about me or Jackson, we like to plan ahead. And so this is going to be interesting, I think, for us. So hopefully it's fun and enjoyable for you as much as it is for us.
Maybe it's a little bit more of a personal touch than what we've had so far. And I don't know, it's something different. People don't want to necessarily be thinking about digital ag on Thanksgiving. It's a better time to just be thankful for what we have and enjoy the people around us. So we thought we'd get this episode kicked off with some Thanksgiving fun facts.
And of course, agriculture related.
Of course, they have to be.
Yep.
So I guess we have a few interesting facts. One of the most interesting probably relates to pumpkin pies and turkeys, right?
Yeah, so we learned that apparently Americans in this year will eat approximately 46 million turkeys, but then we'll eat 50 million pumpkin pies. So
I just don't know what that says about where we are, but
the priority is obviously with the pies.
It is, which I guess is good for Illinois, right? Because they produce a ton of pumpkins in Illinois. They're by far our largest pumpkin producing state in the United States.
Yes, by acreage. And however, we also looked up that maybe you should go check your pumpkin pie cans in your pantry, because a lot of them actually contain winter squash and are not 100% pie.
And see, that's just so disappointing to me, because I always feel like I'm eating unadulterated pumpkin pie because I'm eating pumpkin out of the can. But
I think there's a lot of artificial color.
There has to be, and I'm disappointed. So now I'm going to have to double check whatever mom's buying to make our pumpkin pies this year when I go home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, or go make it from scratch.
That'd be fun. Get some little pie pumpkins.
There you go.
But yeah, so pumpkin pie is I guess kind of a Thanksgiving favorite out there. I personally like Kentucky Derby pie, which is a little bit of a better take on a pecan pie because it's got chocolate instead of like that traditional pecan pie filling that's out there. But
your accent when you say Kentucky Derby always cracks me up.
Kentucky Derby. Yeah, I don't know. But pecan is also kind of an interesting word, right? Because some people say pecan pie, which grates my nerves a little bit.
And we learned that the top 3 producing states of pecans, or however you want to say it, is Georgia and New Mexico and Texas. And as Jackson pointed out to me before we started, his hat is actually describing the pecans of
Golden Peanut and Tree Nuts. It's an ADM subsidiary in Headland, Alabama. There's a location there. I'm not promoting anybody, but
disclaimer, yeah.
That's where the hat comes from. And the tree nuts on the hat are pecans. And Georgia is a leading producer of pecans. They obviously have to have somewhere to go and process them. So it's kind of a unique connection.
We also should have started this off by saying, if you didn't listen to our first episode or our introduction about ourselves, I am originally from Nebraska, but Jackson is not.
No, not a Nebraska boy by birth or anything like that. I'm from Alabama, and I guess our states have some differences in terms of the favorite dishes for our states on Thanksgiving. So down south, almost the entire South, and we're going to share this map in the show notes, is dominated with a favorite Thanksgiving dish of dressing, which some people might also call stuffing. I don't like that. It's dressing. But Nebraska has a different.
We call it stuffing. Yeah, but yes, for our favorite dish is apparently mashed potatoes. So for those Nebraskans out there watching this, you can add your comments of whether you disagree or agree with that. But yeah, mashed potatoes are apparently our favorite.
And what sort of gravy are you putting on your mashed potatoes?
Yeah, I'm sure that's another debate. But my preference is actually no gravy. I come from a house of very picky eaters, and so I feel like I probably don't fit the norm of most Nebraskans with our Thanksgiving meal.
Everybody has their own Thanksgiving things. Personally, for me, I love white potatoes, like typical russets, or gold potatoes that go into mashed or whatever. But sweet potatoes are definitely my favorite type of potato. And interestingly, North Carolina is the largest producer of sweet potatoes in the United States.
And of turkeys.
So does that make them the Thanksgiving state of America? I mean, is that?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
They're also the research triangle, so we have some bias to them anyway for ag companies.
We do. And
yeah.
This is something you may, there's some Christmas related themes about North Carolina as well, but
we'll get into that later in a month from now.
Yeah, we may have to just stay tuned. Stay tuned. You'll learn a little bit more about North Carolina's special holiday ag production.
Yeah, maybe once COVID's over, we'll encourage everyone to go to North Carolina. But until then.
Until then.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we'll have to talk about Minden, which is the Christmas city of Nebraska at that point in time.
Yeah,
as well, right?
we will. Yes, they are. I don't know the whole history behind that, but I do know that they had a big celebration that I actually went to last year. So
oh, really?
Yeah, we'll have to do some research on that for our episode around Christmas.
Yeah, I'd love to go out there. I've seen some pictures of the, I guess all the different lights that they have in the downtown there in Minden. I don't know. It would be kind of a cool place to go see. I've been to see Seward, the 4th of July city of Nebraska.
Oh, yes.
So it was fun.
Oh, yeah. Nebraska and our small town celebrations and events.
I love it.
Yep.
So we've talked about the U.S.'s favorites, different states, and where those things are produced. But we haven't really talked about our personal Thanksgiving favorites. So what is your Thanksgiving like?
We're going to start me.
Yeah, we're going to start off with your Thanksgiving traditions.
Okay, so there's not one that like specifically comes to mind. My family kind of switches it up every year. We sometimes don't even celebrate on Thanksgiving, so it kind of depends, whatever works for everybody. I will say my favorite, like, almost Thanksgiving tradition is typically the weekend after Thanksgiving. My family all gets together, all the women in my family, and we make cookies, dozens and dozens of Christmas cookies.
Christmas cookies, okay.
Yes, dozens of different kinds, and so honestly, that's what I first think of, and it's super fun for us. So yeah, we'll see if that happens this year with COVID, as I'm sure it's switching up lots of people's traditions. So.
And interestingly, my family used to do Thanksgiving on Thursday every single year. And now we're getting to the point where actually this year we're going to push it back to Friday and do it on Friday because with Mom's work schedule, she wants to be involved in making things. And I won't be getting home until later in the week. And I typically, help out with making Thanksgiving dishes. So we're going to make Thursday kind of our Thanksgiving prep day.
There you go. So what's your favorite tradition?
So traditionally, I used to love getting up on Thanksgiving morning and actually watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which is obviously on Thursdays. And pumpkin bread, pumpkin muffins would always be a part of that. Some pumpkin muffins and apple cider. So that was one of my favorite traditions. But I also really love making dressing 2 days before our Thanksgiving celebration with my mom. And so there's kind of a debate based on this map that we saw a little while ago. That most of the southern states like dressing, but Louisiana stands out as searching cornbread dressing. And so Sam and I were talking about what
that means.
What percentage of cornbread do you need for it to qualify as cornbread dressing? Because when we make cornbread, we typically have, or when we make dressing, we typically have a bunch of cornbread that we produce earlier in the week, and we make biscuits the morning of, and both of those go in at about 50-50 ratios to our dressing. So I'm like, is that enough to call it?
We also have to specify here, your cornbread is sweet cornbread, correct?
Yes. It's got sugar in it.
Right.
That's right.
What's different than what's typically in the Midwest.
Yeah. You got white granulated sugar. It's moist, but it's definitely sweeter than what you run into out here. So I don't know. I guess that's probably my favorite Thanksgiving tradition. Similar to you though, where you kind of transition into the Christmas thing.
Yeah.
We always, as a family, watch Jim Carrey's The Grinch That Stole Christmas the night of Thanksgiving to kind of transition into the Christmas season.
Were you a Black Friday shopper? I say were because obviously not this year. But
Never.
Never?
Not once.
I've gone a couple times, but typically not that into it. I'm not going to go running down the doors right when they first open. But
Exactly. So do you have a favorite Thanksgiving food? I know you're a picky eater.
I am a picky eater. I really like green bean casserole and,
hot dish.
Hot dishes. We just had this discussion too. Apparently the northern part of the Midwest calls it hot dish. And so, yeah, and I will be spending part of my Thanksgiving up in Wisconsin this year, so I may have to get used to that. But no, I really like I also really like cooked carrots. So I like that type of thing with Thanksgiving.
Cooked carrots.
Yeah.
That's unique.
Yeah.
I like that.
With the crackers on top. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
I've not. That may be something new I need to try.
Yeah,
I haven't
sure.
done the crackers on top. I'm a big sweet potato casserole person.
And Jackson
And-
makes it himself. He brought it to one of our office things with some bourbon in it. It was very good.
Absolutely. It's a little bit of maple syrup, a little bit of bourbon. It's very, very good. Also love dressing, obviously. But yeah, I guess I don't know. Those are kind of my Thanksgiving favorites. We've talked about just about every food that you could possibly talk about. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, me too. We also, mentioned this before. For those of you who didn't know, Jackson played football in college, and so we were talking about how that's often a really important part about people's Thanksgiving. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how all that goes. I know the Iron Bowl is a huge tradition back home. Alabama and Auburn play. It used to be sometimes on the Friday after Thanksgiving, but more recently it's always been on that Saturday afterwards. And I think Nebraska and Iowa have kind of established a Thanksgiving football tradition out this way. So
hopefully people can stay healthy and those things can proceed.
Absolutely, yeah. COVID's made everything a little bit challenging this year, and I know Thanksgiving won't quite be the same, but it's still a great holiday to celebrate.
That's right. Which leads us into, I think, what we're really thankful for. And, I think that's kind of what we're getting into.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the traditions or, it's been an interesting year for us for sure in the office too. So, that doesn't take away from the things that we are most thankful for.
Not at all. And there are a lot of different things to be thankful for. And since this is a podcast, it's focusing on digital ag. We obviously need to have a little bit of digital ag in this episode. And so one thing I think we wanted to talk about was what digital technologies that we've been thankful for this year, particularly as it comes to agriculture and some of the work that we do. So I guess I'll go ahead and start with offering up mine. I'm really thankful for the Internet of Things and telematics. The reason being that basically those technologies, specifically for pivot control and pump control in the field, basically allowed me to go down and spend time with my brother for his graduation in the early part of August of this year. I was able to go and fly our drone for our research and use the software to turn prescriptions around, but I could send those prescriptions in from anywhere that I had an internet connection.
Yeah.
And so I was down in Tuscaloosa at the University of Alabama, just enjoying graduation. But when the farmers wanted to actually kick that pivot on and make that fertigation pass, I was able to just hop on the phone, make sure everything was on, send the prescription in, and there it was. Research was being conducted without me needing to necessarily be there and still getting to have time with my family. So that was I was super thankful to have those cool technologies available to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if I could top that answer by any means. I hadn't really thought about this beforehand. Coming into grad school, I felt like everything was a new technology to me. I learned ArcGIS, which is, our program that we use a lot. So I learned all that stuff, which has really made things easier. But I think one thing that is probably overlooked often in digital ag is the video capabilities that we have, which sounds, but like I think about, you can go home and fly your drone and you can get some really awesome footage, aerial footage. We can use our iPhones and take really clear footage, and we're able to compile videos. We're able to do really unique things that share our science in a way that's never, that wasn't historically done. We can share that to consumers. We can share that with other people. And I think in some of our future episodes, we'll talk about that farm to consumer process and what technology's done for that. And, I think we have a lot of that at our disposal now in a way that wasn't before.
Yeah, the communications aspect is really important. And I mean, I'm even thinking about when we stick GoPros on planters.
Yeah.
To be able to see, exactly how that planter's functioning in the field, how those row cleaners are working, like all those different sorts of things are they're new.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't get that perspective.
It even makes me think about if you have a question, about something that happened with your equipment or whatever, you can go to YouTube and probably find a video that will explain it to you. We can all kind of be experts now with Google and YouTube and things like that. technology has done some really amazing things.
It has.
And we're thankful for.
Yeah, very thankful for it. And especially during this time of COVID, where it's hard to connect to people, technology has made connecting, I think, a lot easier to do. And so that kind of leads us into our next part of this episode, which is what we're personally thankful for this year. I know it may seem like there's not necessarily a ton to be thankful for depending on where you are in any given day during this time. But I think there's a lot that we have to be thankful for right now. So one of the things that I'm personally thankful for is that my family has largely been unaffected health-wise by COVID, and I am super grateful for that. It's tough when you know people and friends and other families that have gone through things, but I can't be more thankful that it's managed to miss us so far, at least.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Family is always a top thing. Same with friends. I would also just add, something that I think is kind of unique in our situation. Campus is really quiet around here. If anyone here is listening, that's students. It has been really quiet, but our lab and our office mates, you see us, but we do have other office mates as well. And we've, honestly, I think became kind of closer during all of this. Maybe even not, if not in person, we still communicate a lot. Our advisor works really hard to talk to us every week. So I guess I'm still thankful that we find ways to stay connected, with our research, which has been fun.
Yeah. And it seems like it's opened some doors in terms of how we do work, which I'm also very thankful for.
It pushed us to do this podcast.
It did, because it's a different way of getting information out. We didn't have any field days.
Right. Yep. So then we made videos for field days. We're going to be able to go home. You're going to be able to go home for
an extended break, probably the longest break I've had since, longest break ever.
Yeah. And yet we'll still be able to work like as if there wasn't even a hiccup, because we're so used to working virtually now. So, and
we can work from home, and I think having more flexibility in how we work has also given us more time with family. I know you travel to go and see loved ones often, and being able to work on the go and have that be kind of an acceptable way of doing things now, I think it's going to really make us a lot more connected as people after this.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, going back to the way you said, the friends or the family, and then also friends, taking that extra time to go connect with them, even if it's not in person. Yeah. Technology can help us. So
it can. So I guess really that's a great overview of what I'm thankful for this year. I think Thanksgiving is going to be a really, really fun time. It's going to be a great time of celebration for my family. I hope it is for everybody else out there.
We should also add, because UNL's schedule got pushed up, our finals are actually this coming week. And so we get to celebrate the end of the semester as well. And so we're excited for that. So by the time this is released, we will be done with classes for the semester, and we'll be able to really celebrate with our families.
That's exactly right. No stress, or at least limited stress.
Yes.
Because of course writing will be coming up after that for our theses and everything like that.
Yes.
But that does kind of bring us into the fact that we will not be taking a break from farm bits, however.
Right.
Our series on quantifying soil spatial variability is going to continue right after this Thanksgiving episode. But we do have another special edition episode that's coming up right for Christmas. We're thinking about doing that, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be kind of another cool opportunity to, in that episode, talk about a little bit of a different side of ag than what we may see here in Nebraska, or what you may typically think of in commodity production.
That's
agriculture.
Right. Hopefully it gets you in the Christmas mood. That's our goal. And
Absolutely.
Maybe you can apply it to your own agriculture, your own range land. So we'll see.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Get to thinking about trees.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. So anyway, that is probably a wrap for our Thanksgiving episode. I hope that you enjoyed a little bit more of a personal touch. Sam, do you have anything else to
Just happy Thanksgiving. Go enjoy your family and friends, even if it's virtually. Thanks for taking some time out of your Thanksgiving to listen to us and for joining us every week.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving. Go Big Red, and we'll see you next week.